What up, friends? It's your boy Adam. We're back at you again. It's a rise and grind, baby. It is day 34 of the 35-day rise and grind challenge. And I've been getting up early this week. One thing I've discovered during the rise and grind challenge is that when I stopped going to the gym, now that's not a good thing, but when I stopped going to the gym, all of a sudden I have the energy to get up in the morning. And I've been waking up around between 7 and 8 in the morning a lot lately. And it just seems to be more, and I feel more refreshed in the mornings now than I have in a long time. And I think, some of that is like the delayed effect of actually going to the gym and starting to, pound myself into shape again. But I did take a couple of weeks off, and, rest and recovery are important when you're starting to get in shape. And so I've got to figure out how to go back to the gym and start putting that in my life to where I'm balanced again. And I am, today's not the day. Today's not going to happen. It's not going to happen today. I guarantee you that. Today's day 34. I've been busy, but I'm going to give you a recap because I haven't shot a video. I did a live stream with you guys last night. If you missed it, go back and watch the replay. We always have a good time during the live streams. Those are a lot more fun than some of these videos. After I'm done with this series, however long these videos end up being, I'm going to, for the long form video content here on YouTube, the pre-recorded videos, I'm going to move into doing shorter stuff where I might sit and actually talk into the camera for 2-3 hours at a time. But I will structure my notes so that I can just bang through a topic and then move on to something else, move on to something else, move on to something else, and break it up into separate videos. Just because, Goldilocks gets mad when the videos are too long, and she gets mad when the videos are too short. So I'm just going to mix it up a little bit. The live streams seem to go 3 hours. That 3 hours goes by like that. It goes by so fast hanging out with you guys on the live streams. And my intention for those live streams was to do an hour. And they've been going 3 hours. That's kind of why I've backed off on the members only live streams for now until I figure out like what's the best way to give the members, the channel members who pay $2 of their hard-earned money every month to be a channel member. Just trying to figure out the best way to bring value to the table for that. A cup of coffee at Starbucks costs $9, according, and the CEO says that that's a great value. So what can I do to bring value to the table for the $2 of hard-earned money that people are willing to spend to be a channel member? We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. One day at a time, my friends, one day at a time. Productivity this week has been on my mind, not like being productive, but setting myself up so that I can be more productive moving forward. And we'll get into that as I talk. But on day 32, I got up around 8:30 because my alarm didn't go off. I could have got up I would have been able to get out of bed if the alarm had gone off. I really wasn't that exhausted. But it was Tuesday, and I worked at the bakery the day before, and that kicks my ass. That physically demanding job, standing on my feet all day, it beats the crap out of me. It's worse than the 50-mile bicycle ride there and back if I ride my bicycle there and back. The days that I ride my bicycle there and back, the 50 miles on my bicycle and the 8 hours of that job are less exhausting than just driving there and standing and doing that work for 8 hours and driving home. Standing still for me all day, I just have crooked feet and a bad back, and it just doesn't work for me to stand on my feet all day. I need a job where I sit in a chair, an ergonomic chair that supports my crooked ass body. And you know, that's just the way it is. So, but I've recovered pretty. I'm thinking that when I do go back to the gym, my body's going to be a little bit more tolerant of these things. And it's just I can never stick to the same routine every week. That's just something that I've never been able to do my entire life. And I'm not like, you know, that's not a bad thing, but I got to figure out something that works to bring balance to the force, you know? Anyway, let's see. I had to do. Oh my goodness. I had to do this probation paperwork on Tuesday, and it was a slog. And I shot a video for you guys on Tuesday. It was day 32 for reference. This probation nonsense, it gets me every month. I end up doing it on the 5th of the month. I have to get it done by the 5th of the month. I should do it on the 1st of the month. But I'm just constantly doing something. I'm constantly taking something off a list of things to do, doing it, and then going for the next thing, going for the next thing. And it doesn't necessarily mean I'm getting paid for the things. So, you know, shit posting on X now is a job. For like, it's an actual like job. I'm doing it because I want to generate income from it and generate more traction to my other endeavors here on YouTube and such, because YouTube shadow banned my account and have pretty much locked me from growing. So the only way for me to grow now is to bring my own crowd. And so I'm going to have to bring it from other places and have people come over here and hang out. So I had to do that. But before that, I spent some time on Tuesday with my shit posting game. I've got a system for that is solid. I can just boom, 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 boom. I've got more than a month worth of queued up posts ready to go, so I don't have to do, for the next month, 5 times a day and 3 times a day on the weekends, posts will automatically show up on my timeline just to keep that going. And then as far as like whenever I have an hour here and there, I can just log into X and just start hammering on popular people's accounts with funny memes and sarcastic douchebag posts. And those are the ones that gain traction, and that's how you grow an X account. You can't do it by posting stuff to your own timeline. You have to go interact with other people, and you have to have a strategy around it. And I've studied this. I've watched what other people do, and so I'm just copying what everybody else does, and it's working. It's growing. It's actually growing pretty quick since I started banging this system out. And it will multiply itself. You know, to get from 500 to 1,000 will probably take a couple of months. I think it's going to take a couple of months, and that's it. But to get from 0 to 500 took almost 2 years in terms of the follower count. So it'll take 2 months to get the next 500. Once you hit that 1,000 mark, to get to 2,000 will probably take a couple months. To get to 6,000 will probably take a couple of months. To get to 10,000, a couple of. So I'll probably be at over 10,000 by the end of the year if I keep hammering on it. And 10,000 followers on X will result in, I might get 3 or 4 followers to come over to YouTube from that. So I'll have, maybe I can get to 1,230 subscribers here sometime in the next year. I'm juggling so many things now. And I showed you guys in the live stream last night some of the systems that I was using. When I came out of prison, I was using this app called Trello, a Kanban system. If you don't, I'm not going to get into a huge explanation, but it's basic. A Kanban system, it's almost like you have a whiteboard. You put a bunch of Post-it notes in columns. Need to do, working on it, done. That's the simplest Kanban board you could make. And then post-it notes would be like all the things you got to do this week. Bang, bang, bang. Need to do. To-do list. Take the post-it note when you start working on something. Put it in the I'm working on it column. When it's done, you put it in the done column. We do this at different companies I've worked at. Every company I work at has a little bit different way of managing their projects. But that's a systematic approach to managing projects. But it can get more complicated than that. You can make a column for anything you want. So I was using that as a way to keep track of the things that would come into my mind, like within a day or two of getting out of prison, trying to put my life back together. My mind is just racing. You got to do this. You got to do that. You got to do this. You got to do that. And so it's like categories started to be. I had a to-do list with 50 items in it. Broke it out into categories. Now I have a to-do list for each category. And I would just drag things out of it into this is what I'm doing today. And then when things were done, I'd put it in this is what I got done today. And then at the end of the week, I would take this what's got done this week and save it. Because I was kind of nervous that probation officers and other people were going to be up my ass wanting me to be accountable and tell them, what they see me sitting on my ass in front of a computer all week thinking I'm doing nothing. And I needed to say, no, I actually did about 100 fucking things this week. And you want an exact list of everything I actually did? So I was doing that for a while. Then like social services, all those kind of there are people that the homeless shelter, social services, people were going to be up my ass at any point in time saying, "What the hell are you doing?" And I was ready to hit them back with, "Oh, you think I'm a lazy piece of shit who sits around and does nothing? Here, sit down for a minute. I'll tell you what I fucking did." And then I moved to Texas, and it kind of backed off. I didn't have to be that accountable anymore. But I was still using this massive to-do list, and it just kept growing and growing and growing and growing as my life got more together, but things got more complicated, and I'm juggling more things, and this board became overwhelming. And then I moved into that little tool shed that you guys saw me move into, and then I was riding my bicycle to and from that bakery 4 to 6 days a week, 50 miles, 8 hours of work, 25 miles, work 8 hours, ride a bicycle 25 miles home, make sure everything's ready for the next morning because I got to get up at 5 a.m. and do it again. And that was tough. And so I abandoned that to-do list. I just got into this narrow focus of just surviving 1 week to the next. Then then the landlord scammed me. I had to hurry up and scramble and find a new place to live, which would be the 5th time I've had to pack my shit and move in the span of a year. And so I'm just out. I was completely fucking gone. And when I got myself a car and when things started to kind of come together, I just crashed. My mental state just went kaput. All the trauma that I had been through for so long, my body was just we're done. And you're going to take a nap for, 3 months. Just do what you got to do to get through these months. But survive. And now I'm kind of sitting here, I have a panic attack whenever I'm looking at that old to-do list that I haven't updated in forever, and my mind is swimming with all these different things I've got to do and all these projects and all these things I want to do, all these things I need to do, just the chores and keeping up with my tiny little house chores it gives me anxiety to think. So how do you organize all this mentally, and how do you just jot down everything that you need to do so that you can focus on what needs to be done right now and block out everything else, but so that you can also zoom out like Google Maps and see the whole thing and see everything that's in your mind and the big picture. I can zoom out, I can see the whole entire United States. I can zoom out, I can see the entire planet on Google Maps. Or I can zoom all the way in and I can see someone's swimming in a swimming pool in their backyard the day that the satellite flew over their house. I can count the cars in someone's driveway. Like if I'm gonna go look at an apartment or a house somewhere that I saw on Facebook Messenger and they gave me the address. You're damn right I'm going to Google Maps and I'm going to look at the thing as close as I can. I'm going to go down to the street view and go back and forth and just take a look at it. So I don't have to drive there to do it. Get an idea of what's around and zoom out a little bit and see what's going on. So I've been playing around trying to figure out what app to use, because that Trello app, the Kanban board that I had, was too big, too bloated, I couldn't find it. It got to the point where there's so much stuff in it, I can't find anything in it. And I can't, you can only go so far with this thing before I outgrew it. I outgrew my own system and I didn't know what to replace it with. So I just started and I'm busy. So I don't have time to tinker around with lots of different things right now. And so I started playing with, what got me inspired was I subscribed to an app. First of all, I was getting rid of Notion, the note-taking database app that does a few other things that I use extensively for the last several years. But it's become so bloated, buggy, slow, problematic, etc., that I need to get away from it. But because I'm so entrenched in it, it was hard to... it's like being in a relationship, right? And you're a girl who gets the shit beat out of you by your boyfriend, but you can't afford to pay rent to go get a place of your own, so you got to sit there and put up with it. So I'm getting the shit beat out of by, it was kind of like living with my ex. It was like I was verbally getting the shit kicked out of me every single day, getting screamed at and treated like garbage. But I couldn't afford to go get my own place either. So I had to put up with it till she threw me out into the fucking street to be homeless. So it's kind of like that with software sometimes. You got to put up with the abuse because you just don't have the resources and the ability and the time to go, take care of the situation. Well, this week I did. I finally broke up with Notion. We're still going to get together and we're going to bang every now and then. We're going to have, we'll probably have this friends with benefits thing from time to time. Because I'm still going to have to use it to do some things, but I don't have to live with it anymore. I'm on my own now. I got my new place. I was able to delegate all the responsibilities that Notion used to take on to different apps. And I'm going to talk about those a little bit. One of those apps is called Workflowy. And it's a weird, goofy name for an app, but basically it's an infinite nested checklist that's extremely powerful. And I talked about it in a previous video, but somebody related to that app wrote this productivity book. It's another one of these get shit done guru, throwing out another system on how to be productive. And when I read the introduction to it, it had some appeal to me based on some things that I read. And so I decided to dig into it a little bit, because all the things that I've tried in the last couple of years to get back to being organized just haven't really worked out. I'll get into it and I'll be like, this isn't working. It's too complicated. It's too this, it's too simple. It's too complicated. It's, Goldilocks. It's too hot. It's too cold. It's too big. It's too small. And so I just couldn't find anything that worked that I would stick with. And so that was something that I've been working on this week. And also on Tuesday, I had to sit in another lame-ass creator, what are they called? These YouTube creator meetings that they set up for people that are hand-picked because they're the elite creators of YouTube and blah, blah, blah. I get to sit in another one of these lame-ass meetings where I'm supposed to work on channel memberships. I've got 6 channel members, baby. We're rolling deep. But I'm in this meeting where people are like, yeah, I only got 10,000 channel members paying me $10 a month, and I just don't know how to get any more, and blah. And I'm just like, why the fuck did they bring me into this thing? I don't understand why I'm even there. but I show up. So I have to post a certain number of members only videos to qualify for this dumb shit they're doing. And so, but mine don't count. Because, so one of the bugs or one of the problems with YouTube is that if you can make a video called early access so that channel members can watch it first, and then it gets released to the public on a date that you specify. But the problem for me is I can't use that feature because the advertisements either have to be on or off. And the way I want to do it is add no ads. If somebody's going to be a channel member and they're going to pay to be a member of this channel, I'm not going to make them watch a bunch of fucking ads during a video. I'm not going to do that. That's firm. And YouTube says, well, if you turn the ads off, then when the video goes live to the public, the ads won't be there. They'll be off. So for me to do it the way that I want to do it, where the ads are off for the channel members, then when it goes live, the ads are on. They don't let me do that. They could, but these dickbags, they do that shit on purpose. But now they're telling me that if I manually switch it from members only to the public, that it won't count as a members only video. And I'm like, fine, go choke on a dick, assholes. I don't care. I don't care about your stupid fucking thing at this point. Fine, it's not a bug. It's a feature for YouTube. It's a feature for them because why? But like I said, why would anybody want to be a channel member and pay to be one if I'm going to make you watch a bunch of ads every time I post a video? That's really fucking lame. But by doing it the way that YouTube does it, it encourages a content creator to leave the ads turned on, even for the channel members who pay to be a member, because it's just easier for that person to set it up to automatically go out to the... So all you're paying for is early access, but you still have to watch the ads? That's some gay ass shit. So, you know what? Fuck you, YouTube. Fix that shit, and then maybe I'll do that shit. Otherwise, I'm going to keep doing it the way I'm doing it. And now here goes the shadow ban. You can't talk bad about YouTube. If you want to grow your channel, I'm going to lose a couple of subscribers for that one, and it won't be because they unsubscribed. It'll be because YouTube was like, tick, 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 and unsubscribed people for me. You won't even know you were unsubscribed from the channel. You'll just wake up one day and be like, I haven't heard from Adam in a while, and oh, look, he posted 60 videos. I didn't even know. Oh, wow, I thought I was subscribed to him. How did that happen? We all know. So, anyway, I'm sitting in that dumbass meeting, and I go back to this workflowy, like how to manage your life with this app book. And it's already like this guy's spiel is starting to become really, really lame. And it sounded good in the intro and leading up to it, but then when I start watching the actual implementation, it just started to look like a retarded shit show from there, and it was going to be way more difficult than anything I've ever done before to try and manage my life and my to-do list and my projects. And it was just like, I was just watching this and I'm like, how, what? It was bad. It was really bad. But I kept digging a little bit farther, thinking, well, come on, Adam, just give him a chance. Give him a chance. But I get to like 6 chapters of this 20-chapter book, digital book. And now each chapter is a short read. It's like each chapter is like a page. So I'm on chapter 6, and I'm like, I tapped out. Like, I don't even know where to begin. This guy, he spent 6 chapters of a 20-chapter book just telling you how great this is and how you should be using it and why it's so great and how it changed his life and blah, blah, blah. And you didn't even get to like hello world. If you're a programmer, you know what I mean. When hello world is when you write your first line of code and you start actually digging in and figuring stuff out and learning it. I'm in chapter 6 and there's no hello world, like how to begin. how to set it up. And the parts that I did see, I skipped ahead and I'm looking at it and I'm like, this is a complete disaster. So I'm out. I tapped out. But the positive thing that came out of that is the fact that I saw that book, read through it, and believe me, I mean, I will tap out of a system. Like when I was looking for accounting software, I'll enter 4 transactions into an accounting software that I set up, and I'll be like, see ya. If it's a piece of shit, I'll find out within 15 minutes, maybe no more than 4 hours into a piece of software. I'll tap out and just never use it again because it's already, I'm like, this is a piece of shit. I'm never gonna, like, I already know this is bad news. I'm done. We're done. I'm done. See ya. And that's what, I mean, the app, Workflowy, the application and what I use it for is amazing. It's really good software. The free version of it's pretty much useless. I wouldn't even bother going. If you don't want to pay $9 a month for what it does, don't do it. But it is worth the money if you use it as much as I used to. So I'm using it again. I already went grocery shopping with it, and it changed my fucking life. Oh my God, it made my grocery shopping trip so much better than it has been trying to use Notion's checklists to get that done. And it was like, oh, it was so nice to walk around that grocery store and be able to just work with this list very easily. A couple of little bugs that I don't like about that app, but you know, there's never going to be a perfect piece of software, so you just deal with it. But I'm pretty quick to tap out on things when I know they're not going to work. And that guy's book, I was like, we're done. But it made a light bulb go off in my head. And I'm like, so it wasn't a waste of time, because now my mindset is like, now that I'm looking for a solution to this problem I've had for over a year. In fact, it's been about a year. A year and some change, a year and 4 months, February, March, April, May, a year and 2 months that I've been looking for a solution, that I've been knowing that I need to change this approach to something that doesn't give me anxiety and something I can manage. And a light bulb went off. And I'm like, man, there was this app that I tried using once a long time ago, and it looked really dope. And this was right after I got out of prison. And I started to use it, and I'm like, boy, this is a little bit complicated, and I just don't got time for this today, and I'm just going to stick with what I know. And that was fine. I stuck with what I knew, and it worked. It was actually a really good, it made me very productive for the first several months. The whole time until I moved to Texas, that app, Trello, made me so productive. And I was able to keep track of everything I'm doing, and it kept me on point. But like I said, I outgrew the system. So the system couldn't keep up with what I was putting into it. It just became unwieldy and cumbersome and hard to use because it wasn't meant for something that big. My life got more complicated. And so, but I forgot about this other app it's called ClickUp. And so I was like, yeah, but ClickUp seems really complicated. It's like a Fortune 500 company size, enterprise level, project management system for something like Tesla or rocket ships, Elon's rocket ships or something like that, where you got hundreds of people working on something and blah, blah, blah. But I decided, I'm like, but the app looked really tight, the UX and everything. And so I just I opened up my old account and I started tinkering with it. And within a day, they have a lot of tutorial videos and a lot of other stuff. So I got up to speed on a few things. And I'm like, this is a good system, because this app that I tapped into allows me to, it's called ClickUp. And it looks complicated. I'm not going to lie. If you log into this thing, you're going to be like, whoa, what's going on here? But no, it's actually really simple. You can create and manage and track the most basic to-do list. Like, here's all the chores I got to do this week. Wash the dishes, make the bed, clean the bathroom, clean the toilet, clean the oven, clean the fridge, mop the floor, sweep the floor, vacuum this, wash the windows, whatever you got to do. You could use this app for that. And it would be like smooth as silk, easy to use, really easy to make a simple checklist and just bang, 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 bang. If there are things that you have to do again and again in the future, you can set that all up. You can basically take a little to-do list with 10 things on it and use it for that. No problem. It's fast, it's quick, it's smooth, and it works. And it's not complicated to set something like that up at all. But if your life gets out of control, like as you grow mentally and you start using this, this app will support the most basic to-do list for your personal use, all the way up to building a rocket ship at SpaceX and sending a bunch of fucking astronauts to the moon and back, and all the different moving parts and the thousands of people that have to work on that. And like Grand Theft Auto 6, there's like Grand Theft Auto 5, I believe, had 100,000 people working on that video game. A big project like that, where there's so many different things going on, could be managed in ClickUp. No problem. So this app, so the problem with these productivity apps is, like I said, Trello, great app, but it can only grow so far. It's good for simple things. But as soon as your thing gets so big, it breaks down and it doesn't work for you anymore because it gets too complicated and too cluttered and too messy. It's too much shit, and I outgrew it. So a lot of these productivity apps are great when things are simple, but when things start to get complicated, they break down. They're just not robust. They're not built to handle that. On the flip side, you've got apps like Jira. Jira is a software development tracking tool for big projects with hundreds or thousands of people all working on the same project together, Microsoft level shit, big projects. And you can't use that for a to-do list for your personal shit. You would have to take a college course and learn how to use. You would have to spend 6 months learning how to use the app in the first place, just to set up a personal to-do list to be able to do your dishes and wash your floors and track your household chores. If you wanted to use Jira for that, good luck. It's way too complicated. Like, you literally you do not want to go through the pain and suffering of setting up that system and putting things into it, Jira, if you don't already have 100 people working on a project and the project is extremely complicated and has all kinds of working and integrated parts that are separate from each other but all bubble up to the same thing, and 1,000 people working on the Jira is what you get when Basecamp, Trello, and some of these other simple project managers don't work for you anymore because you outgrew them. You outgrow them and you move to something like Jira, because Jira, you have to be big to start out with it. You have to have a big and complicated thing going on just to make that worth setting up. So that's usually how these software projects or these software platforms exist. Really simple, but can't handle big complicated things, or handles big complicated things but would be ridiculous to try and do something simple with it. It's either one or the other. And the thing it's a user experience like genius. Like the design of this app, ClickUp, to me is, now this is just my first impressions of it, but it's genius in my opinion, because this app can handle a basic bitch project list, like a to-do list for your house, all the way up to, I could see it being useful. I could see it being a tool that you could use to handle the complicated mess of building a rocket ship and flying to the moon and back, and all the different sub-projects. Just think about, you got 10,000 people working on a project, and each part of it is its own thing, and you're spending billions of dollars to do it, and there's just, tons and tons. You've got 7 million to-do items in a list. You know what I mean? But they're broken out into different lists and projects and timelines, and this person doing that and this person doing this and that person doing the other thing, and this person's got to see everything that's going on over here, and this person's got to look at it over there, but the CEO's got to be able to see the whole thing. And this app can do it all, from like the simplest thing to the most complicated thing. And I'm like, this is exactly what I need right now. In a year from now, will I still like it? We'll find out. I don't know. But right now, I was able to go in there and just take a brain dump on 3 different projects I'm working on and just be like, got to do this, bang, 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 bang. Put down 30 things that just come off the top of my mind. Sort them in the order that I think is important. Give them all a due date that I think I can hit. Close the thing out. Go to the next project. My YouTube channel got a project. My X channel got a project. My freelance website for my client got a project. My freelance client's YouTube channel is its own project. And I just banged out all these to-do items. And that's all I did. I just put a bunch of to-do lists in there with due dates and sorted them in the order of importance, gave them priority and stuff like that. Now, from there, I've got projects already in there that are like, build this website, but there might be 30 different things to build that website, but build this website as a task. I can take that task and turn it into a big complicated thing that's all contained within itself. And so that is what I needed. I want to do photography sales. I want to go back out and start shooting photos again. I got to clean all my camera gear. There's a whole bunch of stuff just for me to be a photographer again that I've been putting off. Bicycle projects, fitness stuff, YouTube channel X, like I just said, freelance jobs. I've got multiple freelance jobs. I've got people that I've got to get in touch with that I've been putting off for a while, and all these random things, and it gives me anxiety. Like I crash out when I think about it because it's just, it's too much. And I don't have a place to brain dump all of these things so that I can just look at it and start figuring out how it should be prioritized. Because the app that I was using to do that, if I started using it again, I'm already beyond what that app can handle, and it's just going to be a giant mess, and it's going to give me more anxiety to see it. And so that I did spend some time this week on that. And so playing the long game, I always talk about sometimes you just got to play the long game. You got to sacrifice something that you have to do right now in order to focus on something that's going to help you down the road. This is going to help me down the road, at least, it might. Talking about helping me down the road and putting a process and a system together. So I did that on Tuesday. These are some of the things that I did. But at the end of the day, I finally had to put everything aside and do this probation report nonsense. And so, like I said, on the 1st of the month, I get stressed out because I know I have to get it done by the 5th. It's really not even that big of a deal to do it. But every time I have to interact with this fucking corrupt-ass government in any way, shape, or form, it's like instant anxiety. For any of us, if you have to contact the government for any reason whatsoever, is that ever going to be a good experience for you? No. You got to renew your driver's license. Even the most basic government shit is enough to destroy your fucking life for that day, because this government is nothing but a fucking pile of bullshit. It's the biggest problem in all of our lives right now, is that we're ruled over by a bunch of satanic child molesting billionaires who have purposely created this labyrinth of bullshit for us to navigate so that they can keep us all stressed out, broke, sick, and dumb. And so this is just part of it. And so I decided to write down all the steps that I have to take just so that you can get an idea of why this gives me all this anxiety. And this is the easiest option I have. There are 3 different ways that I could do this. I could print out a sheet of paper that's a form. You know, government forms, like when you go to the doctor's office, they hand you a clipboard and you got to fill out all this crap with a pen on little tiny form fields that aren't big enough for the thing that you got to write down. You know the deal. You know, a bunch of crap you can't read, a confusing mess of shit. And it just becomes a big shit show, the whole thing. I've had to do it. I did that when I was living in Jamestown. I did, but my life wasn't that complicated, so it wasn't that hard to fill the whole thing out. One of the things I had to fill out, anytime I had a blank space, I had to put N/A, not applicable. They tell you to do that for the whole form. So every single field on a 3-page form, NA, 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 NA. You got to double, triple check it, make sure you didn't leave anything blank. And it's kind of like, they make you do that, and there's actually a good reason for that, so that if it's a blank field, somebody could go in there and write something in and then say that you put that there. But this handwritten form, if I were to do it that way, I'd have to print it out. I'd have to print out 10 documents, fold them up, put them in an envelope, go down to the post office, get a stamp, make sure that it's in the post office and in the mail, postmarked by a certain date. You know, I'd have to go through this whole same process I go through now, except it would be harder and longer, and it would be more ridiculous than it is. The other option is to do it through their website. They don't let everybody do that, but they let me do it because the probation officer said, he's like, hey, I know you're tech savvy and you're not like a high risk guy, so we're just going to let you do it online. He's like, I don't do that with all of my people, but I'll let you do it that way. I'm like, okay, cool. And the third way that they could make you do it is that I would have to drive down to Houston once a month between the 1st and the 5th of the month, every single month, go up to the bulletproof glass window. Now, that cracks me up because you get to the federal building, you got to take your shoes off, you got to go through the metal detector, you got to put all your stuff on the belt, the conveyor belt, go through, get wanded down, make sure you don't, and blah, blah, blah. And then you get up to where the office is, and you got to go up to a teller behind a bulletproof glass window with a little speaker on it like you're buying movie tickets, and they hand you the paper forms through one of those trays under the bulletproof glass window like you're buying a pack of cigarettes at 7-Eleven in the middle of the ghetto. So, I don't know, like, how would I even get a gun up there if I got to go through this labyrinth of shit just to get into the building? I don't fucking know, but it's a bulletproof glass window when I go. I would have to go through all of that, park, pay for parking, sit in traffic, so I can get handed this paper, sit there with a clipboard and fill the thing out, go through that whole rigmarole, hand it back to them, and then wait around to see if the probation officer wants to come out and have a chat with me, make me go pee in a cup and all these different things. And I would have to do that every single month, maybe more often than that. So those are the 3 options. They gave me the best option. So let's start with that. I have to log into a website once a month and fill out a bunch of stuff, but I documented all the things I have to do just to do the simplest version of what they make me do every month. And so here it goes. First thing I have to do is I have to log into payroll website. I have to go to Square, and I have to go to another place, and I have to get all my paycheck stubs, invoices, and proof of payment all downloaded as PDF files. This month it was 10 PDF files. I have to name each of the files in a specific way so that they show up in alphabetical order, in the right order, and I put them in a folder of originals under a folder called probation attachments with whatever month it is. Then I have to open up what I call a Photoshop master file that has all of these documents in it up to that point. I have to create a new layer group in Photoshop, label it the current month, so it'd be April 2026. Then I have to open up each PDF file individually in Photoshop, resize the PDF to 2000 pixels tall instead of the default size that Photoshop tries to make it, and they could be different for each one. I have to create a new layer in my master file, or in the PDF file. When I open the PDF in Photoshop, if a PDF has a white background, Photoshop makes it transparent. So I have to create a new layer in that file, make it a solid white fill, move that layer to the back layer of the stack, save, copy and paste the PDF document from the Photoshop file that I opened it in into my Photoshop master file. Then I have to rename the layer in the Photoshop master file using the file name that I gave the PDF. It's important. It's part of the process. This is how I do it fast. I have to do that 10 times. Open the PDF, all those steps, copy and paste it to Photoshop, rename the layer, close the original PDF, open the next PDF, do it again, do it again, do it again 10 times. Then for each layer, now I've got all 10 PDF documents in a layered Photoshop file. And so I have to open up each layer individually, turn on that layer so none of the others are visible. Then I have to double click on the title, the label of the layer to get the file name. Copy that to the clipboard. Go to Save for Web. Make it a JPEG, 90% compression. The optimized checkbox cannot be checked. If that button is checked, I have to check this every single time. But if the optimized, there's a button called optimized, a radio button or a checkbox. In the save dialog box, that has to be unchecked, because if it is checked, the website will crash when I go to upload the file. We'll get there in a minute. So I have to make sure the optimized button is not checked. The total file size, I've got to check and make sure it's not 4 megabytes. It cannot be above 4 megabytes. Then in the save dialog box, I have to paste the name of the layer, which was the name of the PDF file, is to become the name of the JPEG file that I'm about to save, and then I choose the folder where the JPEG goes and hit save. Now I have to do that 10 times. So now I've got, and then I've got to go through that folder. Now I've got 10 JPEG images of all of these PDF documents in a folder. And I just got to do a quick check and make sure they're all correct. And some of you tech people might be asking me, can't you just open up the PDF file in Acrobat and save it out as a JPEG? Yes, but it won't work. Believe me, I've tried all the shortest shortcuts I can think of. I've been doing this crap since September of 2024, and now it's May of 2026. But you can, does it sound like I would like to find a shortcut that works a little bit faster? Believe me, I've tried everything. This is the only way it works. We'll get there in a second. So now I just go through and I check all of those JPEG files to make sure that they're all correct. Then the next thing I have to do is calculate. I have to open up the paycheck stubs, calculate how much gross I was paid for that month, divide the number of hours that I work by 4 so that I know the total hours I worked per week on average. Write all that down in a note file. Then I have to open up all the freelance invoices, look at all the gross income that I got from the freelance and figure out how many hours I put in per week and come up with a number for how many hours I did that every week. Jot all that down in a notes file, like a notepad file, Notion, whatever. Then I have to open up the accounting software. I have to jot down how much did I spend in every category. How much did you spend on rent? How much did you spend on transportation? That's car, payment, auto insurance, gasoline, AAA, anything to do with transportation. Could be bus fare, could be anything transportation. Groceries, how much did you spend on utilities? How much did you spend on your phone? And there could be a bunch more. Then all these things get jotted down in a notes file. So what happens now? There's a reason for this. Now I have to log into this antiquated, broke down piece of shit government website that probably hasn't been updated or fixed since like 1992. I was in high school the last time this website was messed with. Then I got to make sure my current password works. They make you change it all the time. And they have so the passwords have these goofy ass rules. Now, you know how when you sign up for something, they'll give you a bunch of rules for your password. It has to be this many characters, has to have lowercase, uppercase, numbers, special symbols in it, whatever. Well, this one's even way worse. And you can make a password. I found this out one day. You can make a password with certain characters in the password, like an exclamation point or something like that. And it will let you save the password, but then you will be completely locked out of the account forever without having to get someone to fix it for you because you used a character in the password that the system won't accept. The system will accept it when you make the password, but then when you go to log back in, it won't let you back in. And it'll be because the password has a bad character in it. So this is how fucked up and antiquated and broken and a total shit show this website is. You got to be very, 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 very careful when you make a password for this thing. And I I keep every single password I ever make for this thing in my note file, which, security, that's not a good security thing, but for this purpose, I don't fuck around because if I get locked out of this thing, then that's a problem for me. So you can't use any password that you've used before. They make you change it all the time. Plus, you got to be very careful how you make the password, because if you can make a password that will save, and then you're locked out of your account because the password that you saved and that it accepted no longer works for you to log back in. So that's just the password for this website. We're not even past that yet. So now I get into the thing. I have to look at this goofy ass picture of me that they took the day I came out of prison. Is this you? And that fucking blows my mind, because if you ever saw that picture, oh my God, dude. I'm going to make that my profile picture on LinkedIn, I think. That would be the best. That would be the best. But you get logged into this thing, and you got to go through this whole series of questions. Did you do any crimes this month? Did you do any drugs this month? Did you have any guns this month? Did you flee the district and go somewhere you're not supposed to this month? Did you do bad things this month? Okay, and there's like 20 of these questions. And I think they ask you these because, are people that fucking retarded that they're going to be like, yup, I did a bunch of crimes, did a bunch of drugs, I got 20 fucking guns at my house right now, and I went to Mexico and back. Like, but I think what they're doing is setting you up so that if they catch you doing crimes, they catch you doing drugs, they catch you got guns, they catch you fleeing the district when you're not supposed to, and then they can look at this thing you filled out and they can go, okay, we're going to charge you for the crimes that you did and the drugs and the guns and the fleeing of the district, and we're going to charge you with lying to a federal officer because you told us that you didn't do those things. So that's just a way for them to charge you with a new crime if you fuck up, so that they can throw an extra crime in the stack. So that's what it is. I mean, you can't be that dumb. Then they ask you, how much did you make on everything? And that's why I have all that stuff in my notes file, because it's copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. I don't have to sit here and fill stuff out on this website. All I do when I get to that point is, after I get to, did you do crimes? No. Did you do drugs? No. All those questions get answered. Now I'm copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, next. Copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, next. Copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. How much did you spend? How much did you make? How much did you spend? Rent, copy, paste. Electric, copy, paste. Groceries, copy, paste. All of it, just bang, 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 as fast as I can. And then I get to a screen where I've got to attach all those documents. They won't take a PDF. It has to be a JPEG image. It can only be a JPEG image. It has to be under 4 megabytes, and it has a bunch of other requirements and things that you won't. I mean, I don't know how people do it if you don't have a computer science degree from MIT, I don't know how the fuck you would even do this. to be honest, because it took me, like, this is not easy to figure out. Like, you just can't attach an image. Like, I can go to X and shit post. I can copy and paste an image from anywhere, hit paste on X, and it makes a new post, and I hit post, and boom, it's out there. This thing, I have to go through that 10-step process just to make one JPEG, and then I got to make 10 of those. And then when I get to this screen where I have to upload my documents, it's a tiny little button. You got to find it with the mouse and click on this tiny, tiny little upload button. And then you got to select it one at a time. So I got to hit this tiny little upload button, find the file, click on it, wait for it to upload. The screen refreshes, and then it says successfully uploaded. Next, do that again. Push the tiny little button, select the file, wait for it to upload, wait for the thing to refresh and say file successful. And it builds a list of all the files that it knows you just uploaded. And you got to do that one at a time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times however long it takes. And then you've got to hit a button that says, okay, these files are now uploaded. Are these all that you have? It's like a yes or no. You hit yes, and then it asks you one more time for the password. So the way I found out that the password was an issue was the first time that I put a password in that was a bad password because it had a plus sign or some character in it that I couldn't use. I got through the whole fucking process, and I got to that last screen, and it wants you to put your password in again. And I put the new password in, and it said, sorry, something went wrong. If anything goes wrong, that's all it's going to do. It's going to say, something went wrong. Fuck off, you piece of shit criminal. Something went wrong. Something went wrong. Now, the thing's a piece of trash, and the probation officers, they all know it. So, like, they told me that. The dude, when he told me that I have to log into this thing to do this every month, he's like, yeah, it's a piece of shit, dude. He's like, he was straight up. He was like, yeah, this thing's a total piece of shit. We hate it. It sucks. You're going to hate it. So they understand that if something goes wrong, a website, piece of shit website that hasn't been updated since 1992, if something goes wrong, they're going to be like, yeah, we know. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to hold that over my head. They should have logs that I tried to do it. But I've been able to do it. I'm techie enough that I can figure it out and get past the bullshit and get it done. But, so yeah, you go through that whole fucking thing. You attach all the files. You hit a button, and then you get to this last screen. You got to enter your password before it won't go through if you don't. You hit your password, you hit the button, and then boom, it finally goes. You finally get this like wave of relief that it went through, and then you get this screen that says, would you like to have email confirmation that we received? And I'm like, fuck yeah, I would. Like, why would you even ask me that? Why would you even ask me that after this total fucking disaster of a shit show? If I want an email confirmation that I just went through this fucking rigmarole again for another month. Yes, I want my fucking confirmation email, because then you get an email from them with this big long fucking code at the end, your confirmation number. It's probably, 86-bit hex encrypted fucking string of characters. And then like, at least I have proof in my email box of I did it on this date at this time. Here's the big long confirmation number. Good luck typing that into your antiquated shit show of a computer when you have to check on it, because it probably won't let you copy paste it. It's like entering. Remember when you used to have to enter in the password for some software you bought? You just installed Microsoft Word, and it comes up with this fucking box, and you've got on the back of your software box, you've got this 150 fucking character long password, WX9Z3436B2 CD976, and it's just like this fucking thing, and you get one of them fucking things wrong, and you can't register your software and use it. You're locked out. That's what they send me as a confirmation number when my thing goes through. Well, it's because there's so many people on federal probation right now. They say like 1 in 6 people in America has a federal case on them. So the federal government has put 1 in 6 Americans into probation or jail. 1 out of 6. Like China don't even do that shit to you. But anyway, that's another story for another day. This is the shit I have to do every month. Now, the whole time that it took me from beginning to end, from when I said, okay, I've got to do this, to the end, was 45 minutes. And that included me jotting down all those notes so that I could tell you what I got to do. And I got to do this every month. So half an hour, 45 minutes, sometimes it takes an hour, from beginning to end. This the website part. The website part is oh, one of those fruit flies just went to heaven. Fruit fly heaven. Actually, they go to hell. But see ya. Good riddance. So anyway, lost my train of thought on that. So, this process, 45 minutes, hour. The website part, logging into that antiquated website, going all the way through from beginning to end, 5 minutes max. But it's because I know what a disaster that website is. I've gone to that website without being prepared for it before and spent an hour jerking around with that website trying to get it done. And then, like I said, there's times where I got to the last step and the thing didn't save. And then I had to log back into the website and do it all again. And I didn't have all this. That's what told me, you do this on your own computer first. You put down every single thing you need to enter so that when you log into this piece of shit website, all you got to do is answer the questions, yes or no, yes or no, yes or no, and then copy paste, copy paste, copy paste, copy paste, copy paste, copy paste, the whole thing through. That way, if something goes wrong, you can bang your fist on the desk, get mad, log back out, log back in, copy paste, copy paste, copy paste, copy paste, and see if it sticks this time, see if it works. So 5 minutes beginning to end, but all the stuff that I have to do before I log into that piece of garbage website takes like half hour to do all that stuff and to get all those documents and all that stuff. Now, if I had 2 paycheck stubs per month, it would be simpler. Things would be easier, but whatever. I got to do this 11 more fucking times, maybe 10, because my probation will end April 2nd of 2027. And I have until the 5th to get this done. So are they going to make me do it? Or am I going to get to the 2nd and be like, sorry, bitches, I'm out. And I don't have to do it this month, right? Or are they just going to make me do it because they're actually trying to make me account for the month of March when April gets here? So I'll probably just fucking do it because it'll be one more time. Who cares? It's just one more time. But I got to, they don't like to, when you're in a race, they don't like to trip you at the start line because you might come back, right? They want to trip you right before you get to the finish line. That's the way these people are. Get them all the way to the finish line, and then we'll put them back in prison for some snafu. And so that's that. And so that wraps up my day for Tuesday, day 32. And we're an hour into this video. I gave my rank a 4. I honestly, on a scale of 1 to 10, it was the least productive day I've had. In spite of everything I just shared with you for an hour, from the beginning of the day to the end of the day, I was more productive on the day I went and had pulled pork and spent the afternoon at my friend's house than I was on Tuesday this week. Partly because most of the day was spent doing nonsense trying to figure some things out, coming up with a new system to get things done, probation nonsense, shit posting on X. I don't count that as highly productive use of my time, but if I can get to be as big as if that fucking retarded ass hillbilly dickhead cat turd can get 4 million followers on X for writing 2-word posts all day that aren't even funny, then there's no fucking excuse why I can't do it. There's no excuse at this point. I just have to go out and do it. So yeah, maybe I'm wasting my time right now, but when I get 100,000 followers on X, maybe I won't think that that was a waste of time. And at the pace that it's going right now this week, I've already got 10 more verified. I have to get 500 blue checkmark verified followers in order to be monetized. And I've gotten like 10 or 12 of those this week, just this week. So that is a slog, but it's picking up. The pace is picking up. I got blocked by Dan Bongino. I mean, that's a big deal. That fucking dumbass retarded pussy, he had to block a fucking nobody with 500 followers because I trolled him too hard, and he's too much of a fucking pussy to take some criticism. Like, fuck you, Dan Bongino. Fuck you, dude. Like, for real, you're that much of a fucking coward that you gotta block a dude who's a nobody, a dude who spent 2 years in federal prison for a mean tweet, all because you got trolled for being a fucking hypocritical douchebag, for running into the FBI saying you're gonna change everything and we're gonna arrest those pedophiles and all this and that, and then you turned around and were like, what pedophiles? Jeffrey Epstein definitely killed himself. I'm out. I quit. Fuck you, Dan Bongino. But thanks for blocking me, because you're all like, you fucking pundits are like fucking Pokemon, and I want to collect them all. So here we go. Yesterday, Wednesday, day 33 of Rise and Grind. I got out of bed at 7:30, jumped right out of bed, no problems. But mentally, I was feeling like shit. Physically, I felt fine. You know, like I said, the slog of trying to be a YouTube guy, along with all the other shit when the cards are completely stacked against you, it gets overwhelming at times. And, you know, there were things that happened the day before that I don't even think I talked about. I'm not going to. They didn't inspire much confidence, but, you know, it is what it is. And like I said, Tuesday I felt like I really did nothing all day, even though I sat in front of my computer working on things all day. So it was kind of like a toss-up to me. It just didn't feel like it deserved. I didn't even feel like I deserved to give myself a 5 on the scale of 1 to 10. So Wednesday I got deeper into this app, that ClickUp app, trying to organize. I have a backlog. If I put down all the things I have to do as a task, a to-do list, my to-do list would be 1,000 things. I could put 1,000 things down that I have to do or want to do. How do you organize that? Because obviously I'm not going to do them all. Nobody would. If you did one a day, and there's new ones popping up all the time, and how do you organize this? How do you organize this? If you're a productive, mentally, like, if you're somebody who's juggling a lot of stuff, you know, if you're just one of these blue-collar peasants that show up to the factory, punch the time clock, or you go to the coal mine, you punch your time clock, you put on your helmet, you take the elevator down, you dig the coal, dig the coal, dig the coal, dig the coal, get covered in soot, take the elevator back up, take your helmet off, punch the time clock, go home, take a shower, sit in the lazy boy, microwave your dinner, watch sports ball, go to sleep, wake up, and do it again. Well, that to-do like 6 things that's like 5 things every day. Gotta remember, I gotta wake up, gotta put on my overalls, gotta go bang the coal, gotta go bang my hammer in the coal mine, take the elevator back up, punch out the clock, sit in my lazy boy, watch some sports ball again. Like, I mean, and I'm not saying, like, I'm not making fun of you if you work in a coal mine and that's what you do and you get good money and you take care of your family and all that, that's great. I just don't think that's like, you know, unless you're making the bucks, unless you can move up the ranks in a coal mine to be like the coal mine manager, like, but I'm just saying, like, you go to like, let's change it. Let's say you go to Walmart, you put on your blue apron, you punch the time clock, you go stand at the fucking door, you greet the people when they walk in. 8 hours goes by, you go back, you take your blue apron off, you punch the clock, you go home, you eat your fucking thing of cat food because that's all you can afford to eat when you work at Walmart. And you sit in your lazy boy, you watch your sports ball, you get back up, you go back and do it again. Your to-do list is only, you know, you got like 10 things a week you got to do, right? Your life isn't that complicated. But if you're like trying to run a business, you're trying to juggle, you're trying to come up with 6 different hustles to get your life going because I can't get a job at Walmart. I can't get a job at Burger King, can't get a job at Target, can't do any of that. Would do that. I would have done any of those. Nobody would hire me because I'm the biggest piece of shit criminal that ever lived. There's some pastor. Hold on, I'm going to pull up his name because I got it right in front of me. Robert Morris, founder of one of America's largest megachurches and former member of Trump's Evangelical Advisory Board, has just been released from jail after serving 6 months for sexually abusing a 12-year-old girl. The abuse lasted over 4 years. That just happened. So I got to go to federal prison for a Twitter post for 2 fucking years. 2 years. I went to federal prison for a 2-year bid because of a mean tweet. But if I had raped a 12-year-old girl, I would have only done 6 months. If I raped a 12-year-old girl for 4 fucking years, which means, was she 12 years old when it started? Or was she 12 years old when it ended? Because that means that he was raping an 8-year-old girl for 4 years until she turned 12 years old. And then he went to jail for 6 months. But I went to jail for 2 years for a fucking Twitter post. Now, you're gonna go, some of you fucking assholes out there in society are like, well, Adam doesn't accept responsibility for his crime and he doesn't think he did anything wrong. Now, I'm not saying that. I'm saying I would have got 6 months in jail for raping a 12-year-old girl for 4 fucking years, so it means that it started when she was 8. And after 4 years of getting to tap that ass, I would have got 6 months in jail. Or a mean tweet, and the FBI shows up at my house and drives a tank through the front fucking door and takes me to prison for 2 fucking years? Shut the fuck up! Like, I got nothing. Like, how the fuck can you even make sense of that? And yeah, I'm going to say some shit now. I was going to keep my mouth shut. But the way that I've been treated and the way that I've had to deal with all this fucking bullshit since the day I came home from that mess, I'm running my fucking mouth now. Because I tried to do the right thing when I came home. I was going to keep my mouth shut and go get a job and do the right thing. Doing the right fucking thing's not working out. So this is what I'm doing now. So fuck you all. And now, not you people, the ones watching this video, of course. But you know who I'm talking about. So anyway, let's get back to the topic here. Because I just go down this rabbit hole and then it's over. I'll just cut this out and make it a YouTube short. You know what I mean? If you want to watch the rest, go watch the channel. Let's see here. So anyway, yeah, ClickUp. How I go from a productivity app to a pastor going to prison for 6 months because he raped a 12-year-old kid. I don't even know how we got from here to there, but we're back. ClickUp. I mean, maybe he was using a productivity app to track his rapes. I gotta make sure I get home to rape the kid today. Maybe that was in his to-do list on his Trello board. I gotta move the rape card from need to do to in progress. and then to the completed, and then I've got to set up a reoccurring task so that I make sure to remember to rape the kid next week and repeat for 4 years. Got to add that to my Google Calendar. Make sure I rape the kid on Tuesday. Set it up as a recurring event that happens every Tuesday. Stops 4 years from now when I go to jail. For 6 months. Is he going to do it again now that he's out? Because, 6 months. Fuck, that's not... He was rich to begin with, so he could afford commissary and everything that he would need to make jail comfortable as it could be. Didn't look like he got the shit kicked out of him for being a child molester, but, he probably had a few problems in there, because, those inmates will find out. But, whatever, dude. I gotta get off this shit. I'm so fucking sick of this country. How do I even go back to productivity now? But here we are. So I dug in deep to this app and tried to figure out how to use it. And they have a shit ton of training videos. They have a whole, ClickUp University. I watched, 3 of the basic training videos just because I already figured out how to use the app because it's intuitive and you can just log in, start using it, and it makes sense. But there were things that I was like, how about this? Or what about that? And I started watching these videos and I learned a whole bunch of stuff watching 3 videos that were 10 minutes each. And I'm like, damn, this is even better than I thought. And so I'm in it. I'm using this app now. And I'm sticking with it. So I've done a lot in the last couple of weeks trading applications that I used for something for the last several years, trying something new and saying, this is what I'm going to use now. So that I can just get out of this quagmire of dealing with lots of different bugs and problems that keep coming up over and over and over again as I'm trying to work. But I was in the middle of projects and in the middle of some stressful periods that I just can't. It's like you got a car that breaks down and stuff, but I'm just not in a place where I can go get a new car yet. You just got to suck it up and deal with the check engine light and all the different things. And then you can go get a new car. And, then you can get a new car with a government kill switch that they can shut off when it's time for the next bacteria or virus lockdown and, make it so you can't go to the grocery store and, make it so that the car doesn't start unless you're wearing your COVID mask while you drive around by yourself, whatever they're going to do to us next. I'm on it. I'm on this kick. You get me started. I got me started because there's nobody in the chat today. So, here we are. I'm getting more organized because I took a step back to abandon things that I need to do so that I can get more organized. So when I turn around and go back at it, I can be more efficient with it. If I use the X shit posting as an example, for me to go to X and post at the frequency I would need to and respond as fast as I need to people's posts and do the things in order to build a following there, I would have to spend, at the way I was doing it before, I would need to put in 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, 6, 7 days a week, 8 hours a day. That's what Cat Turd and these assholes do. They literally sit there for 8 to 10 hours a day banging on X because they're making $20,000, $30,000 a month to do it. You get paid $20 grand a month to suck Trump's dick, post it on X. Bang, 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 bang. Whatever they tell you to say. Gas prices are bad under Joe Biden. Now under Trump, gas prices are good. Whatever they tell you to say. And you get that $20,000 check every month. That's a lot of money. But you're going to sit there for 8 to 10 hours a day posting on X 150 fucking times a day. And I don't got that kind of time for something that's not going to pay me. But, so I had these ideas in my head, and now I've got time to fuck around with it for a couple of days. Now, I have a month worth of posts already scheduled to go. I could walk away for a month and things will keep showing up there that I posted. Number 2, I've got a meme database, a straight up meme database with thousands of memes that have keywords. It's searchable. I can instantly I need Epstein memes. Boom, there they are. Bang, here they are. I can look down this one, click on it, copy, paste, done. That's how fast I can respond to somebody's post. Oh, I need a MAGA hat post, a retard in a MAGA hat. Retard MAGA hat, boom. Here's one. Pop, there it is. Reply. So I can do this lightning fast. Today, I'll get into this in a minute, but I'll do it right now. Today, I had to copy a bunch of video files from my phone to my computer so that I could shoot another video for this series, because I ran out of space. And that takes a long time to copy those big-ass files. And I don't want to interrupt the process by choking my computer's processor and whatnot. So I couldn't do anything heavy work, and I had to pay attention to that. So I'm like, well, it's good time for shit posting on X. In about an hour, I was able to queue up a bunch of posts, replies. I was able to schedule a bunch of stuff, and it looks like my effort has resulted in 13,000 impressions and 15 new followers and a couple of new verified followers just from spending an hour today shit posting. So every time I spend an hour on X now, I'm actually gaining. I can basically do what Cat Turd does in a day in 1 hour a day, taking a digital smoke break or something. Instead of going to watch some dumbass video on YouTube, go to X and post a bunch of dumbass shit on X. And at some point, I'll get to the point where I'm getting paid for that. It may not even be a lot of money at first, but I'm going to get to the point where I've got 4 million followers, and Donald Trump's team's going to be coming up my ass wanting to pay me 20 grand a month to post whatever they tell me to, and I'm going to tell them to go suck a dick. And then the Democrat, because I'm not Republican or Democrat, they're going to see me post a bunch of anti-Republican stuff, and Kamala Harris's team is going to come up to me and be like, hey, we'll pay you to be an influencer, and I'm going to tell her to go choke on a dick. I'm not going to cave in. I'm not going to take their money. But they're going to come after me wanting me to get, they're going to want to pay me to reach my people. I'm going to get to the point where all these fucking people are going to pop out of the woodwork wanting to pay me to tell you what they want me to tell you, and I'm going to tell them to go eat a dick. And because I'm doing it on my own. So, and you watch, that's what happens to all of them. When anybody who gets to a certain level, you get invited to the Eyes Wide Shut party at the Illuminati Club, right? At the big mansion. You walk in and everybody's got the masks and the robes on, and then they lead you to that back room and they're like, here, we need you to fuck a little kid, and we're going to videotape it. And you got two choices. You can either fuck the little kid while we videotape it, and that means that from now on you do what we say. If you don't want to do what we say, that videotape is going to come out. But you're going to live in the lap of luxury. You're going to be worth billions of dollars. You're going to have a yacht. You're going to be dripping in pussy, little kids, whatever the fuck you want to have sex with. Donkeys, horses, sheep, goats, kids, fucking people, women, men, whatever you want. It's all yours. You're going to have mansions, cars, Ferraris, Lamborghinis, a big-ass fucking lifted-up Jeep if that's what you want. Whatever you want. It's all yours. All you got to do is fuck this kid. Let us film it. Then you do what you're told, or that video comes out. Or the option 2 is you say no, and they find your body in the basement of your house with 2 gunshots to the back of the head, and the coroner says that it was a suicide. Your choice. Your choice. What are you going to do? So that day may come. And like I've said many, many times on this channel, I would be caught living under a bridge, homeless, sucking dick for crack rocks before I would ever kill myself. Record that, make it a YouTube short, and remember that when they find 2 holes in the back of my head and holding a gun in my hand saying I killed myself. Anyway, ClickUp. Productivity apps. Yes, that's... I can use a productivity app, and I've got a meme database, and I've got basically optimized my efficiencies for shit posting on it. If I want to have a career as an internet troll, then I've got to be able to optimize my efficiencies in order to perform at a top level. And so I put that system in place this week. And it's a banger. Pow, man. I can hit them I can do that thing so fast. If I spent all day doing it, if I were to just buckle down and say, for a month, I'm just gonna do nothing but shit post on X all day long, which I can't because I gotta make money. I can't report to my probation officer that I'm a professional shit poster and I spent 30 hours a week doing it. Probably, I mean, unless I have a paycheck stub from X. But anyway, if I did that for 30, 40 hours a week, I'd probably have 100,000 followers by the end of the summer. It would take off, so it multiplies each time you hit a tier. The speed at which new people come gets faster and faster and faster. You'll go from 100,000 to 200,000 in less time than it took to get from 0 to 100. So it's just the way these things play out. So as long as they're not suppressing me and blocking me like YouTube does, like YouTube has put a lock on my channel, so I'll never get more than 1,220 subscribers. They tell you that there's no channel locks on the channels. They gaslight us all the time in these meetings, but they put a lock on my channel, so I'll never grow past where I am right now. I'm just here to be here at this point. I've taken it as far as it can go. YouTube says I've got to toe the line. I've got to say the things I'm supposed to say and not say the things I'm not supposed to say, or else the lock stays. So I got to find another way. If my dream of being paid to be a dickhead on the internet is to ever come true, I've got to find another path. So here we are. ClickUp. I'm going to be able to optimize my efficiencies now that I have a verified to-do list for all my different hustles. Once again, cancel culture is a real thing. You got to have, like, I'm not going to go back to corporate America and get the golden handcuffs and be tied to a desk for a 6-figure job that they could take away from me like that. I mean, I would if it was offered to me, because the money would be good I would be able to put a lot of money in the bank right now and then just walk out the door and have a nest egg. But honestly, I just don't think I don't think the good Lord has that in mind for me anymore. I think he wants me to go down this path. A lot of you might think, well, how can you be a Christian and be a dickhead? You ever read the Old Testament? God was a dickhead. Look at some of the things God did to people in the Old Testament and tell me that wasn't a dick move. So, fuck off. If that's your criticism, then, it is what it is. So anyway, I got to a point. Let's just get to the topic at hand. I was at a point where I needed to ditch the things that no longer work. I needed to break up with the bad relationships. I needed to detach from things that don't work good anymore. I need to try things that might work. I need to go on a few dates. I need to go find a new girl. I need to find someone that I can vibe with. And I needed to keep doing the things that are working. And so sometimes you just need time. You need to be like a little kid. You need to go play in the sandbox sometimes and just forget about everything else and go play with some toys. We talked about this last night in the live stream, but just to reiterate, playing with toys. Some of you people are like, how you're out of your fucking mind to think that you can make a living being a dickhead on the internet. And I'm like, there's a lot of people who make a good living being a dickhead on the internet, for one. Number one. Number two, there's a guy, I showed you a guy on Kickstarter who said, I'm going to make a potato salad, and if you give me money, I'll send you a picture of it.
he got $53,000 on a Kickstarter campaign for making a fucking potato salad. 53 grand. Okay. That's more money than I'll make this year. That's more money than I'm going to make in a fucking year right now. Yeah, I used to make 150 grand a year, but not anymore. Let's see. But there's this little kid on YouTube. It's called Ryan's World or something. He was like the number 1, number 2 channel on YouTube. This little fucking kid gets paid. In 2025, he made $30 million. $30 million to play with toys. So, you're going to tell me that I can't make any money or I can't follow my dream to become an internet dickhead that makes a ton of money being an asshole on the internet. But a little boy can play with fucking toys on the internet and make $30 million a year to play with some fucking toys. Okay, I'm going to dig one deeper. I didn't talk about this one last night. We got a fucking cat. Remember Grumpy Cat? Remember the angry Grumpy Cat that was all over social media? Do you know how many fucking millions of dollars that cat made? That cat was living in a fucking mansion, eating fancy feast and filet mignon every day for dinner, while people at Walmart are going home eating cat food because they can't afford to fucking buy groceries. A cat made millions of fucking dollars, living large, living in a fucking mansion, has probably had a whole wing of the fucking mansion covered in those carpeted fucking cat climbing contraptions, and probably had like the most elaborate fucking cat bed you've ever seen in your life. A California king-size cat bed. Eating filet mignon and lobster every day for dinner. A fucking cat. A cat made millions of dollars. A fucking cat. And you're going to tell me that I can't be an asshole on the internet and make some money. Fuck off. A cat can be a fucking millionaire. So, I'm not fucking buying it anymore. I'm all in. I'm all in on this. If anybody's got a problem with that, hit that fucking thumbs down button, unsubscribe, get the fuck out of my face. I don't give a fuck anymore. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. So, there's another YouTube short. But you gotta play in the sandbox sometimes, just like a little kid that gets paid $30 million to play with toys on YouTube. You gotta play. Sometimes you gotta just like try some stuff out and play around, and it's like being creative. I'm a creative guy for a living. I do graphic design. I make logos. You don't come up with a logo design by coming up with a logo and sitting at a blank sheet of paper going, I need a logo. And it just, you got to play. You got to fuck around. You got to just like look at things and play around and tinker and take a paintbrush and move it around and just fuck around and have a good time. And you're like, boom, there's my logo. That's how it happens. It doesn't happen by forcing it out. It happens by, I got to come up with a thumbnail image for a YouTube live stream last night. And I'm like, I've been using Grok Imagine to do it because it comes up with some bangers. And I'll start out and I'll have no idea what the fuck I'm going to do. And then yesterday, what did I do? I got to pull it up here. You can see it by going to the May 6th live stream. And, of course I can't find it now. Hustle culture. Yeah. So I'm trying to think, it was about the death of hustle culture. And I'm like, I can't even think of what to put for this. Gary Vaynerchuk. I'm like, David Goggins. I'm talking to Grok. I'm like, I don't know, David Goggins, Gary Vaynerchuk, that Casey Neistat guy. I'm like, wait a minute. That guy, he's got this dirty ass apartment in New York City that he's always putting in his videos. That motherfucker's worth millions of dollars now, and he lives in this dingy-ass fucking brick-walled, dirty-ass New York City studio apartment or whatever the fuck, and it's just like the cliche hustle culture guy. I'm like, so yeah, okay, Grok, give me a dirty-ass New York City, brick-walled, paint peeling off the walls, wooden floor, studio apartment with a bunch of laptops and iPads and cameras on the floor, and a fucking hipster dude with a single speed bicycle and a bunch of camera gear and lights and whiteboards all over the fucking place, and take it from the, give me that. Boom, here you go. It gave me this fucking image of a dirty ass New York City apartment. It's got a radiator, paint peeling off the walls, the blinds are all fucked up on the windows, wooden floor, cameras, laptops, iPads, phones, lights, wires going everywhere. There's leftover pizza on a plate. There's a hipster passed out on the floor, sleeping on a fucking wadded up coat, even though there's a pillow over in the other corner. Whiteboards on the floor covered in a bunch of random shit, and a bicycle in the corner, and then a bunch of posters masking taped to the brick wall. And I'm like, dude, you couldn't have given me a better image than that. I'm like, winner, boom, there's my thumbnail image. But I couldn't come up with that without fucking around and playing playing in the sandbox. I got a banger. All these banger thumbnail images that I find for the live streams are all just playing in the sandbox. Like coming up with some fucked up idea and seeing what I can turn it into by screwing around with the AI bot to make a photo or make an image of it. And you can't do that kind of creativity if you don't have the ability to just like not care and to just like, I'm going to play today. I'm going to go out and play. When I do a website design for a client, I'm not serious. I'm like, I'm playing around. I'm screwing around. I go into a design application and I start moving things around, and I go, okay, this is all the stuff the page has to have. It has to have this text, this logo, this image. How do I put this all together so that it looks good? Start dragging things around, moving around. Well, no, I don't like that. Well, move it around like this. Oh, okay, well, change this color, do that. Well, that looks good, but what about this? And what about that? And after like a day or two of that, I get something that looks really good. And so it's kind of like the same thing I'm talking about here. That you got to ditch the things that aren't working. You got to try new things. You got to keep doing what's working, and you got to play in the sandbox. When I was in art school, the best, Flavia Zortia was the name of the teacher. I know the name of 2 different arts. I have 3 instructors throughout my education in art whose names I remember. One of them was my vocational teacher in high school. 2 of them were from the Art Institute of Pittsburgh. Flavia, if you're watching this and you had her as an instructor, you remember her. Everybody loves her. She was the best teacher there. I hated her. She almost got me to commit suicide once because she had me so stressed out in her fucking class. With these ridiculous deadlines and some other stuff that she was doing and how mean she could be. But she was great. I learned more from her than probably anybody else in my life. And the reason why is because she taught you how to think, be creative. So when you have to, like, let's just say you got to design a logo. The trick is not to sit down with a blank sheet of paper and go, and just sit there for fucking hours on end trying to come up with a logo. That's not how it works. You just start jotting down ideas. Post-it notes on a board. Miro. A notepad. You start writing things down. You can draw things, verbal ideas. Record your ideas when you're driving in your car. Turn on a voice recorder, voice-to-text recorder, and start taking notes as you drive, and random things start coming into your head. The whole trick is that, number one, there's no such thing as a bad idea. No such thing as a bad idea at all. You got to get that shit out of your head. If something comes to your mind, you write it down. You don't judge it. Never judge an idea. If you're in a room with 10 people, you don't go, oh, that's fucking stupid, we're not writing that. No, you write it all down. Everything. Every single fucking thing that you come up with, whether it's a drawing, an idea, a word, a color, an image, a theme, whatever it is, you put it all down. Within an hour or 2, or however long you do that for, now you got this fucking buffet of ideas. right? Instead of having a blank sheet of paper with nothing on it, now you've got this fucking smorgasbord of ideas everywhere. And so now you go through the process of judgment. And you start taking these ideas and you start sorting them out, grouping them together, cross off the ones that are ridiculous, keep the ones that sound good, and you start sorting it. And eventually, like something on that board will pop right out at you and say, this is the answer to the solution of your problem here. And that's how you do it. That's how it works. The answer will be on the board, or something on that board will trigger the solution to show up in your head once you've got it all out there and you start putting it together. It's a lot easier to weed out the bad ideas from a sea of ideas and pick the best ideas from a buffet than it is to sit there with a blank sheet of paper and waiting until an idea comes that's good. Because you have to write all of them down. Because a lot of people are, you live in fear, right? We're all trained to live our lives in fear. And so the fear that keeps people from being able to be creative is they sit there with that blank sheet of paper and that's not good. No, that's not good enough. No, I can't do that. No, that's not good. No, I don't want to do that. I can't say that. Oh, we can't do this. Can't put that down. And you just shoot down every fucking thing that comes into your head before you even put it down. And that is what makes you so that you can't do those kinds of things. You can't write the song. You can't make the video. You can't make the logo. You can't do whatever it is because you're unwilling to just put the idea down, whether it's good or bad. You're judging it before it even comes out of your mind. When you break that habit and you actually just dump it all out and then look at it and see what it is and see what you can do with it. It's easy. It's like you've unlocked the secret to life and this is what that instructor taught all of us. Everybody who had her, who talks about her the way I'm talking right now, we all have the exact same story, that she didn't teach us anything about drawing or art or technical, how to do this or how to make a watercolor painting or how to do the thing that she taught us all how to do was come up with an idea and actually how to do it. How to go from somebody who can't think of anything good to being someone who can just pour fucking ideas out all day long. And you get the more you do it. I've been doing this professionally for, almost 30 years. So you get good at it. You just bang, 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 bang. They come out you all day long. They just pour out of you. Because you just get used to living your life like that. And so that's the same kind of mentality that I have when I'm doing something like I got to figure out a new way of using software and figuring things out in my systems and how to do this and how to optimize my efficiency so I can be a shit poster on X at a higher prolific level than I am already, and just all these things. And I just had to brainstorm. Some of this was in my head. I don't always have to write everything down. It just kind of swirls around in there. But I had some ideas. I had to play in the sandbox. I had to learn 4 or 5 new pieces of software in the last week. And just kind of dig in and play in the sandbox. Understanding that I'm going to make mistakes. Some of this isn't going to work. Some of it will. Some of it won't. Some of it's a bad idea. Some of it's a good idea. All those things. I don't give a shit. I just needed to do something. See what works. See what doesn't. What came out of all of that is going to help me moving forward. I'm going to be able to get more done moving forward over the next. It's kind of ironic that I've done this 5-week, 35-day rise and grind thing. And towards the end, I'm doing less work, but I'm actually kind of setting myself up to be more productive moving forward. Because a lot of the bottlenecks that I've been dealing with lately, I've loosened them up and gotten them out of my way by just stepping back and making these things happen and taking care of these things. And the fact that I got up early today, it's not even noon yet. And I've already banged out a whole bunch of stuff. I'm sitting here doing a video with you guys that's almost 2 hours long, and it will be 2 hours by the time we're done. And I'm still going to turn around and bang out a project for a client, and I'm going to go back to shit posting on X. I'm going to do some stuff on the YouTube channel, and I'm going to work probably into the night. I'm going to skip the gym because I'm more in favor of getting this stuff done. And I'm just going to get the ball moving, and I'm going to be more organized, and nothing's perfect, but it's better. And so at the end of my 35-day Rise and Grind challenge, I'm going to put down a list of like everything I did and accomplished. But I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, this is kind of nice. A nice way to wrap up the 5-week stretch by getting, like, at the end of the 5-week stretch, I was able to find the time and the space to sit back and play in the sandbox and update software and figure things out and change the way I'm doing some things that's not working so that I can work better moving forward. And so I'm not going to do any more of this like Rise and Grind bullshit, series. But it's got, my light bulbs are going off in my head of like, now I feel like I can handle the stress and the workload of a more complicated life. Because right now my life is more complicated than it was last year. It was more complicated last year than it was the year before that. And when you're stuck in prison, your life's not very complicated. Wake up, eat breakfast, go walk around track, go work out in the gym, go to church, go play pool, go to the chow hall for lunch, go to the library, read a book, go to go get dinner at the chow hall, go back to the gym, and that was at the federal low security prison. The first prison I was at was wake up, sit in your fucking cell for 24 hours, wake up again, sit in your cell and read a book, wake up, sit in your cell and read a book. Do that for 5 days straight, take a shower, the end. So life, my to-do list was very small. Wake up, eat breakfast, read a book, eat lunch, read a book, eat dinner, read a book, fall asleep. Never get to leave your fucking cell. Do that 5 days in a row and see how your mental state handles it. So, but anyway, life keeps getting more complicated, and it reached a point where I need to find a way to handle the complications without having a mental breakdown. And so I took the time to do that. And now I'm glad, because I know that I'm always talking about handle the long game. Do things. Don't be afraid to do things in your life that you're doing for the long term, even though you might have to give up something like, my dishes are piling up because I'm focused on the long game stuff today. I ain't got time to do dishes. That's today's stuff. I'm doing stuff for next year today. I'll do the dishes tomorrow or whatever. I don't care. Like, that's how you got to be sometimes. You can't. If you're constantly focused on just doing what you got to do today and nothing else, then you're just going to be working in that fucking coal mine for the rest of your life, getting up in the morning, clocking in, putting on your overalls and your helmet, take the elevator down, bang on the fucking rocks with your hammer, take the elevator back up, go take a shower, get the black soot off you, go get your microwave dinner, sit in the sofa and watch sports ball, get up, do it again. Like, if that's all you're focused on is the here and now, that's your life. And then you're going to be dying of cancer, laying in a fucking hospice bed like my mom and dad, watching I Love the 80s reruns on VH1, waiting to fucking die. Or like my mom sitting in a recliner watching Reba on fucking TNN or CN Country Music Channel or whatever. Reba, I'm gonna watch Reba. And coloring a fucking coloring book until the day she croaks. Like, no, if that's what you fucking want, then have at it. When I get cancer, I'm going to Central Tractor. I'm getting the horse paste. I'm coming home a couple more weeks. No more cancer. I'll be good. So, can't say that on YouTube either. There goes my shadow ban for the next month. So, but no, you just gotta you gotta think about the long term sometimes and not be afraid. Don't live in fear. Just don't live in fear. We all do. I do. I have anxiety. Part of the reason why I had to sit back and come up with these strategies of how to handle my complicated life is what I need is a complicated life that gets me money in the bank. I don't need a complicated life where I'm struggling to survive one week to the next. One missed paycheck causes a ripple effect that I suffer from greatly. And so it's hard to get it all done. So, what do I do? There's a lot of people who pop into this channel who think that I should just shut the fuck up and go work at a $10 an hour bakery job for 80 hours a week and suck it up and live that coal miner life. No, that's not the answer. That's not going to do anything. But, I'm going to be the guy. I'm going to wear myself out to where I'm 60 years old laying in a hospice bed dying of cancer. What would I be watching? Probably fucking Star Wars. Probably watching Star Wars until I finally die, even though I've seen everything in Star Wars universe. Like, I don't know, what I find, I'd find something better than Reba or fucking I Love the 80s reruns on VH1, I'll tell you that. But I'll definitely find something better than that to watch on Netflix or Budflix or whatever it is. So, but anyway, there's that. I feel good about those accomplishments in the last few days, and after I get this video done, then I do the wrap. I do tomorrow's 35-day wrap, and then a wrap-up video after that. Close out this playlist. We'll be all right. Let's see, what else did I do yesterday? Because I'm still not done. I'll try to go through it quicker. Chrome. So one of the things about the live streams, you've noticed every now and then the live stream glitches out. My main camera, I've got two cameras that I switch back and forth. One of the cameras goes way out of sync to where it's like a Jackie Chan, one of those kung fu movies where and then they say English and then they say some more English and the mouth never syncs up with the words. Like, the video will be 30 seconds behind the audio at some point, and I just have to shut the camera off and say, fuck it. I've done some things to fix that. I've been hitting it from every angle, trying to figure out how to fix that. Last night, we didn't have that problem. The sync was in sync the whole night. But Google Chrome has become a nightmare. Web browser. So I'm trying, the only thing I want to use Google Chrome for is when I develop websites. I use Chrome as my primary testing browser because that's still the most popular web browser out there. So it makes sense that as a web developer, I want to test everything in Chrome first. And make sure that Chrome is like the benchmark of everything I build. But I typically use Brave. I dabble in Firefox a little bit, but there's a lot of things I don't like. Safari's on my Mac. I use it for testing. I don't use it for anything. Brave is my main browser. I cannot run the YouTube live stream with Brave. I still haven't figured that one out. Brave refuses to allow my cameras to stream through the browser up to YouTube. So if I turn on the camera, I've given the app permission. I've turned off the shields. Shields down. All the connections, all the permissions are granted. But whenever I try to connect to the camera, blank screen. It's a black screen with nothing on it. So for whatever reason, Brave, security-focused browser, will not let my webcam or my cameras connect to YouTube through that browser. So I have to use Chrome. And the thing is that Chrome has become such a bloated processor hog piece of garbage app because they're tracking everything you do, and probably all the Big Brother tracking AI bullshit that's in it. As soon as I launch Chrome on this MacBook, the fan spins out of control, the processor heats up, the processor goes up by like 50 degrees, the processor temperature, and Chrome, this fan starts spinning. As soon as you open Chrome on this MacBook, the whole MacBook just goes wild. And Brave doesn't do that, even though it's a Chromium-based browser that's based on the same source code as Chrome. So typically, like if I'm testing websites out, if it works in Chrome, it's going to look the same in Chromium. Typically, Safari and Chrome and Brave all look the same. Firefox might have some issues. The browsers have gotten better at being nice to each other in terms of interpreting HTML and CSS code to visually be the same from browser to browser. It used to be a much bigger nightmare to make websites work in all the different web browsers because all the different web browsers interpreted the code differently. So it would look good here, but it wouldn't look good there, and you'd have to figure out how to make it look good here without fucking it up over here. And you still have to do that to a degree, but it's not like it used to be a nightmare. Now it's kind of an inconvenience. But Chrome sucks, and I'm trying to ditch it. And I cannot figure out, I might try Safari. I might go with Safari and open the Safari browser to do my YouTube live streams instead of Chrome if it works. Anything to keep the processor heat from going too high and the fans from going whoosh like a jet engine taking off would probably make things go smoother for the live streams. So that's another one of these bottlenecks I got to figure out. Like I told you in a previous video, I believe that I spend 10% of my entire life, not working hours, but my entire life, and you might too, 10% of the hours of your life now are spent trying to figure out how to deal with a broken piece of software. And it could be anything. I mean, like, it's getting to the point now where you can't brush your teeth because you lost the Bluetooth connection to your toothbrush. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's getting fucking retarded with this shit. So, and everything that you have is a piece of software that's got to glitch out. And I got to troubleshoot it and fix it because it doesn't fucking work like it's supposed to. And, like my washing machine won't do my laundry because it needs a software update and the Wi-Fi connection's down. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? What happened to the knob that you turn and it washes your fucking clothes? It's what we're doing to ourselves, man. So, yeah, ClickUp was good. I spent, an hour or so yesterday afternoon and at various points in the day shit posting on X. But I also did a bunch of client work. He's got some really good videos that I got to get put up on his YouTube channel, which I've done. I've got to do some more keywording, meta tagging, thumbnail creation, and then I've got to do some design work and put these videos throughout the website, things like that. And I did some of that yesterday. But I also went through that ClickUp app and was able to kind of get all of the random things that all these random to-do things that are all over the place. Email. Some of them are in emails. Some of them are on a Miro board. Some of them are in my Notion file. And all these different things all over the fucking place of what we need to do for his website and YouTube channel. Plus he's got like 6 other outlets. Substack, iTunes, Spotify for podcasting. He's got like a whole bunch of things going on. I'm just trying to focus on the 2 most important ones. He's got Facebook. He's got like 7,000 people following him on Facebook, and whenever he posts a video, he gets a lot of views. So that's a project in and of itself, but he's got somebody that actually handles his Facebook account for him and is really good at it. So I'm like, have at it. One less thing for me to have to worry about. It's fine with me. So I was able to sort all these to-dos and like, instead of having a panic attack about where the hell do I even begin, now I've got the next 3 weeks planned out, item by item by item with due dates, and like, this is how I feel it'll fit in, and it doesn't have to go perfect, but it's all there. And if he asks me, what are we doing this week? Bang, 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 bang. Here we go. That's what we're doing. If you got something else you want me to do, type it in, type it in, type it in. Boom. Schedule it. Shuffle the thing around. Boom. Here we go. Here's our plan. That quick. As quick as I just said it to you. So that'll take that app, I'm really digging this app. Like, I don't get excited about software very often, but this is like a banger. This ClickUp app. It supports taking pure chaos right out of the bucket. You can dump a bucket of chaos straight into it as it exists, and then you can start sorting it out and figuring out how to get it all done. And I'm not one of these people that spends all day fucking around with a to-do list and project management stuff, but you need some sort of way to keep it all sorted out and like on point. Like, we work at a bakery. We have a whiteboard. We have to know, like, okay, what doughs are we going to make for all the different cookies this week, right? And we write it down on a board. We're going to do a triple of this, a double of that, a half of this, a double of this, a single of that, etc., based on, a single, half, double, triple is based on the recipe. You double it, you half it, triple it, whatever, based on how many you need. But we don't just go in there and start randomly fucking flinging dough around. We figure out what we need to make based on what we're going to sell, what we've sold, what we need, and then we plan it out, and then we make a to-do list, and then we cross off the to-do list as the day goes by. So I've got, it's the same thing with any project work. But I'm juggling like 50 fucking projects right now, so I have to have a whiteboard list for each thing. And sometimes something starts out as a to-do item that turns into a 6-week-long project with 150 to-dos that have to be done before the to-do gets crossed off. And this app supports all of this. The app can be as complicated or as simple as you need it to be. So I don't make complicated. I'm not going to make a Gantt chart for doing my chores at my house with dependencies and a timeline. Well, I can't mop the floors until I vacuum, and then I see it on a Gantt chart. Vacuuming will take 3 hours, and mopping will take an hour. And, if you know what a Gantt chart is, you're laughing right now because I just said that. But I could make a fucking Gantt chart for my goddamn household chores, or I could just make a list with a checkbox next to each one. It's that cool. Like, I can make it as complicated or as simple as I need it to be. So there are cases where it has to be complicated, or I'm not going to be able to know what the fuck's going on. But there's other times where if it's that complicated, I'm just like going to fall apart trying to maintain it. So this is great. I'm raving about this because I'm just like, I can't believe I didn't try this software out before. And it's free. That's the best part, is it's free. Like, I'm looking at the free version of it compared to what you pay for, and I can't ever see, as long as I'm using it completely by myself for everything I cannot see a single reason I would ever have to pay for it. But they're making bank because big companies are paying for it. So they're like, it's like the best fucking thing in the world when a software company can give you useful software for free. Unless you're an evil piece of shit like Google. But that's another story. But, when a software company that's a startup, they can give you a really useful piece of software that you can use for free all day long. But if you grow to where the paid features become useful for you, then you can add that on. But by the time you get there, you've probably already got, it's probably a no-brainer to buy it. And the first paid tier is like $8 a month or something like that. It's like dirt cheap. So even if 10 years from now, like if I have a team of 10 people working for me and I'm like Joe Rogan, I become a famous internet dickhead and I've got an engineer to help with the video and the audio crap and some guy in the background that I can just say, hey, pull that up on the screen, instead of me having to be the one to pull the thing up on the screen during the live stream. And I got like fucking Consuela comes over and she mops my floors and does the dishes and all the chores and stuff, and I got all that stuff going on. I could certainly afford to pay the $8 a month for the project management tool. So there we go. And I love that. I love that they made it work. And they're making some bank. Like, this company is not a small company right now. Notion did the same thing. And I'm going back to the free version of Notion, and there's never going to be anything I'll ever have to pay for again, because all the things I was paying for in Notion, I've replaced with other apps. So I don't need to use Notion for that stuff anymore. But I still recommend Notion if you need a note-taking app. If you need some basic thing, like if you need something that'll help you keep your stuff organized, it'll work. The bugs that there's massive bugs that I hate about it, but I'd still recommend it for certain situations and people that are looking for something, because for a lot of people, you would find it to be easy to use and powerful. And you would never have to pay $1 for it, because you get so much for free. So yesterday I gave myself a 6 out of 10 on a scale of 1 to 10, rise and grind, because I did accomplish a lot of things that I was happy about. Organizing, long game stuff, optimize the efficiency of my shit posting on X. I have, turned this into an enterprise level operation with a one-man show who can do it, and juggle other things. Figuring out all the different pieces of software that'll help me move forward and be able to focus and do my job better than I did a couple of weeks ago. It all feels good. It just feels good. But I gave myself a 6 out of 10 because, there's things that I have to do right now that I've set aside for days. And I've sacrificed things that I need to get done, and I am going to have to bang out 30 billable hours I'm going to have to bang out 25 or 24 or 23 billable hours in the next 3 days, which is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So four days to get those hours out on a project. And I've got to do some other stuff on top of that for my hustle businesses. So, and I've got to shit post to X, put stuff up on YouTube, begin to try to figure out how to revive my Etsy store to sell photographs again. I've got like a million different things. And so this 35-day challenge, I'm on day 34 today. I woke up at 7:30 in the morning. Emailed a client, warmed up, jumped into those to-do lists, crossed off things I did yesterday, put a few new things on it, pushed a YouTube video up to go live, shooting another one here for you guys. At some point, I've got to meta tag and keyword and do a bunch of crap this will be one of 2 videos that I need to keyword, meta tag, create a thumbnail for, and all the stuff, and then make it go live for the channel members for a day or 2, and then live to the riffraff for the rest, for the rest of time until YouTube decides to start deleting my videos. And I had to do some long file copying from my phone to an external drive, a bunch of big video files, and I didn't want to disturb the process because if it gets broken in the middle of the transfer, I'd have to do it all over again. So I jumped onto X and did about an hour worth of shit posting while I was waiting for those bars to go across the screen to make sure all the videos got backed up. And then I'm recording another video for you guys, and it's lunchtime now. It's noon. So I'm going to go get a salad bowl, something to eat, and I'm going to sit down, maybe add a couple more shit posts to X, check my stats, and then I'm going to get at it. Client work. Bang it out. Put on some YouTube background videos like the one you're listening to right now, except the people I like to listen to. And tomorrow, we'll see what happens. Tomorrow, end of day, is Friday. Weekend, time to party. All that shit. We will get at it. I'll do a wrap-up video for this whole series, tell you what I learned, what I did. I'll keep it shorter. I won't talk about every individual thing for an hour like I've done lately. I'll just put it all in bullet points because I've got it all written down. Everything I did every day is in bullet points from day 1 to day 34. And 35 will be there too. And I'll just be able to make a list. Here's what I did. Here's where I failed. Here's the success. Here's the failures. And here's what I learned. And here's what I did to move the ball forward and to make life better. So that'll probably be the one that, should get the most views or whatever. I don't know. But from there, I'm going to do things a little different on the channel. I've got some ideas. It's just, I got to fit it into the schedule. So with that, I'm going to say peace out. Thanks for coming.